if you take the firearms first and then you do due process, is that due process? Hello, everyone. Today, I really need your help. If you live in the state of California, or if you know someone that lives in the state of California, I would highly recommend that you read the links that I'm going to have down in the description, watch this video, and share it with a friend. Because San Jose, California is going to be enacting some of the craziest gun control laws I've ever seen. We have an opportunity to speak our mind and potentially stop this from happening, but as of right now, it seems like the city council is going to be voting on potential laws that would make it so that you have to pay fees to own guns and pay for insurance, and they're going to vote on it before they determine the amount that you're going to have to pay. Let me know if that sounds weird to you down below. Before we get going, though, I do want to say thank you to everyone that supports this channel. Like, comment, subscribes, all that good stuff. You guys know the drill. If you want to use any of the links down in the description, that helps me out as well. But let's get talking about this. So we've talked about the San Jose City Council and Mayor Sam Liccardo in the past regarding this sort of legislation. We've discussed how some companies and some organizations are gearing up for lawsuits when this actually does pass. They got to wait till it passes before they can actually sue them. But hopefully there is some organizations like FPC or NAGR I know was trying to get potential plaintiffs when this does eventually go through. But let me just read from you a Reddit post of someone that did a great summary of what's going on. I'm going to have this link down below, but we're just going to be talking about some of the laws that are going to be put in place if this does go into place and some of the craziness surrounding it. We will also, at the end, discuss how you can make your voice heard in this specific situation. There's a variety of very easy ways. You don't have to be on the phone if you don't want to, but there are ways to make your voice heard. Now, I'm going to be listing off some of the things that it does. Now, the main one is that it requires a resident of the city of San Jose who owns or possesses a firearm to obtain and continuously maintain a homeowner's, renter's, or gun liability insurance policy which specifically covers losses or damages resulting from the negligent or accidental use of a firearm, including but not limited to death, injury, or property damage. That person will be deemed the owner of lost or stolen firearms until the loss is reported to the police or sheriff's department in the area they reside. So potentially, if you get your gun stolen, don't realize it for a few hours, and then someone commits a crime, drops that gun at the scene of the crime, they would consider that your firearm unless it was reported stolen, so your insurance would likely have to cover it. Now, situations like this, I'm not really insurance savvy, I would say. Do you know of many insurance companies that cover negligence? Usually, if you're negligent, the insurance tends to say, yeah, no, we're not going to cover that. So I'm going to have a very hard time believing that there is insurance currently on the market that would cover intentional negligence or intentionally breaking the law with a firearm. Now, it would also require that any resident of San Jose who owns or possesses a firearm pay a annual gun harm reduction fee to a nonprofit organization designated by the city manager. So, again, these prices that you would have to make of a donation to an annual gun harm reduction fee to a nonprofit, which is most likely going to then further try to take away your right to keep and bear arms, you're going to have to pay them an unset amount currently, but they're going to vote on it before they set the amounts. Does that seem right to you? Now, you're going to have to maintain current proof of insurance and proof of payment of the annual gun harm reduction fee and keep that with the firearms where they're stored or transported. So let's say you're driving around, but you left a couple guns at home. You're going to have multiple copies of this proof of insurance and proof of the annual gun harm reduction fee. It's crazy. Can't even remember what to say because it's just so ridiculous, right? You're going to have to maintain proof of both of those with the firearms you're transporting and leave a copy with the firearms that you're storing in your home. Let's just think about this for a second. How do we think this is going to work? Police officer driving around in San Jose, because believe it or not, many officers in San Jose will happily enforce these kind of laws. Many won't, and that's awesome, but many will. You're driving around in San Jose, you get pulled over because you're going a few over the speed limit, maybe you just didn't notice something, whatever reason, you get pulled over, cop is talking to you, They see some gun bags in the back and they say, hey, I'd like to, you're a San Jose resident? Okay, well, I'd like to check to see that you don't have any firearms in your vehicle, or I'd like to check to see that you do, and I'd like to see that you have your proof of annual gun harm reduction fee and proof of insurance, because it says that you're a San Jose City resident and it says that you own firearms. Now, here's the deal. What if you're a San Jose City resident and you currently own firearms, but you store them outside of San Jose? Do you then have to keep a copy of those San Jose permits with those guns? Or what if you don't keep any of your guns in San Jose? Do you then have to keep do you still have to pay those taxes and fees because you're a gun owner? You own and possess firearms, just not in the city of San Jose, even though you do live in the city of San Jose and you do possess firearms. How are police expected to enforce this? Who do you think they're going to enforce this most on? Do you think that they're going to force this on the political elites? Do you think they're going to enforce this on cops? No, because cops are exempt from this. Law enforcement officers are exempt from the gun harm reduction fees and the insurance. Now, the residents violating the ordinance may be punished by administrative citation, fines, and any other civil and administrative remedies available to the city. The firearms may be impounded subject to a due process hearing. If you take the firearms first and then you do due process, is that due process? Now, the city manager is authorized to basically set how all of these regulations are going to be enforced and how it's going to go through, including setting any fees to process this kind of paperwork. They're going to set a fee for insurance that you have to keep, an annual gun harm reduction fee that they're going to set a price at a later date after they vote on this. And then if there's any administrative fees to file this paperwork, they're going to set those fees at a later date as well. Now, again, law enforcement officers, CCW holders, which keep in mind, San Jose is in Santa Clara County. Go watch my recent videos about Santa Clara County CCW and then report back to me whether or not you think there's going to be many people that are exempt because they're CCW holders. So law enforcement, CCW holders, and the poor, basically a unset determination of whether or not you are financially struggling, they will determine that you don't have to pay it. So yeah, okay, maybe this doesn't affect the poor. I'm going to be a little bit controversial here. What groups of people are committing more crime? Is it people that are living in financially wealthy areas and have a lot of money? Or is it people that are living in areas with higher crime and higher poverty rates? So is it the responsibility of the people who are likely to not commit crimes to pay for the gun harm reduction fees for the people that live in the areas that are more likely to commit the crimes? I don't agree with these fees to begin with, but if you try to use their rationale and their understanding and their logic, it just starts to seem awfully targeted. Now, if you want to make your voice heard, there are a variety of ways that will be linked down in this Reddit post. You can use an e-comment, you can send an email, you can over the phone, you can Zoom in. There are a lot of ways that you can make your voice heard. This is going to be voted on 125. I'm going to have all the information down below. If the meeting changes, I'll try to make a community post, try to pin a comment in this video. But if any information changes, I'll try to do my best on various social media platforms to let you know that things have changed, dates have moved. But as of right now, this is set for the 25th. You guys know the drill. Have fun, be safe, stay dangerous. Peace.